Hi everyone, Susie here from Minnesota, and I garden in the Zone 4. I'm going to take you on a tour today of all my containers. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. That helps me out immensely. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for all my followers for your support. It's been a really good year. So let's get this tour started. Lots of insects buzzing, more so than the birds. They've kind of quieted it down. But this container here is huge. I mean, look at that. I'm really loving this. And this is just one Coleus in here, along with a Dragon Wings Begonia. I do have a caladium in here, Miss Muffet, but she's kind of getting swamped out there. And then a Prince Tutgrass in back. And that probably would not have been needed because this Coleus is just crazy. I mean, I love that one. The one over here is exactly the same as that one. It gets a little less sun over here, so it's not as filled out, but still looking really good. I have a lot of Dragon Wing Begonias in my containers. They've done extremely well for me this year, and honestly I would never be without them. They're such an easy begonia for me. One of the easier ones. Along with these containers that have just really bounced back from that prune. I want to say it was in June. This one gets a little less shade, but this gets a little more sun over here, and this is just... These have to be my favorite so far. I'll go to this one, and the size reference here will kind of show you how big these are when you see the size of the garbage can. But yeah, just Creeping Jenny trailing down, which I took from my garden. Dragon Wing Begonias, pink, along with the Coleus. And this Coleus I really trimmed up too. I think my sister I butchered it. And then Mahogany, Splendor, Hibiscus. Oh, I love that one. So that is one of my favorites this year. Let me know too what some of your favorites of my containers are. I have some that are, but you know, I'm still appreciating because I grew most of these from seed or cuttings, or took it from my garden. Not the Dragon Wing Begonias. This right here is a Black-Eyed Susan vine, Blushing Susie. It's loaded in blooms. I mean, look at this. I'm so happy it looks like this for this tour, because a lot of times it looks so great and then I can't film, and then I come back and then there's no blooms. I'm very happy it bounced back too, because I came home from work one night and they were all wilting. And it's growing into the lilac on the ground, and I'm just letting it do what it wants to do. I really like that. Oh, I moved this hanging basket over here with sweet potato vine Medusa, and it's doing so much better. It has filled out. Well, if you look at my last tour in July, you'll know how much it's filled out. So I'm very happy. Yes, I did make a little new area. And this is Cerinthe. It is a bee magnet. And with some verbena in here. I don't know if I'm going to do Cerinthe again. It's a little bit of a hot mess, but it's definitely, this is not one of my favorites. But I will always have verbena. There's just something about this plant that I just absolutely love. And I will also, I think I'll be taking cuttings from it too if I can, from like the side shoots. I've never done that before, but I'm going to try it. This is looking a lot better too, except all of these were wilting. This zinnia, everything was drooping. I didn't think it was going to perk back up. This is 20 Apple Blossom Snapdragon with oregano, just flowering, and I'm letting all these containers kind of do what they want to do. A little trimming here and there. It is August. Not expecting a lot more from these. My sun situation is just, well, you can see it's kind of pretty. Comes up through those pine trees, but then it moves this way. So this gets a lot less sun now. But, I mean, you wouldn't know it because these zinnias are absolutely gorgeous. Benry's Giant Salmon Zinnia. And it is loaded in blooms. Look at that color with the Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. It's kind of a stunning look right here, right now, even with the hydrangea. That's the other thing for next year I'm going to keep in mind. I don't want these containers to get this tall because they're kind of covering up the hydrangeas, which are in their full glory, right? But look at that. Look. Gorgeous. But yeah, they're covering up the hydrangeas, especially poor Pinky Winky back here. And this is a beast in here. This is just one plant of Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. It's just an annual. I started from seed, and it does really great in containers. I think getting it out of this container is going to be fun, but I think I'm going to have to prune this a little bit. It's kind of coming out. And then there is some Gara popping through down here. I would not have needed the Gara. I think it's just, this is crowding that out and it's stretching a bit. Who needs anything else in this container when you have this plant? Oh, I love it. And it's easy to start from seed too. And this container here is still another one of my favorites over here with the Nicotiana swivolens. I love these marigolds. They last forever in a container. With the lemongrass here, these blades of grass. I do have a ridge run at the bottom. Probably wouldn't have needed that. But I do like this, you know, I love this container. Let's not pick it apart. I do have to trim up some of these heads though, clean it up a bit. But yeah, I don't know. I get a lot of comments on this one. It's definitely different. This Texas Sage Hummingbird Coral Nymph is a constant bloomer. It just never stops producing flowers. I had to tie it up because it was kind of falling apart. I have 3 plants in here. Probably one would have been sufficient. With oregano at the bottom, and the bunny tails, they're kind of giving it up. And that's usually what happens. They look really good, but they've lasted this long with the high heat we've been having. You know what? They still look good. They're offering a little bit of texture to this. Oh, yes, Nicotiana smells really good right now. Nicotiana smells the best in the morning and late evening. But yeah, this is just, look at that pink too with the hydrangea back there. And this is Nicotiana Lime Green. I love Nicotiana Lime Green, just really not in a container. I think it just got a little overpowering. I have been trimming it up because you can see these are all seed heads. There's a lot of dead down here. I just kind of push it into the mulch over there. But trimming this up, I do have to be careful because it's very sticky. And it is prone to bug issues. It still looks really good. Sorry, an ant was crawling on me. But it is a nice pop of color over here. And another black-eyed Susan vine that's just going crazy. This has climbed over here and over in here, which is, I'm letting it go, and down here. It's just adding some color over here right now. And this rose needs to be tied up. And look at this. It's all over in the lilac. I think cleaning this up is going to be fun. And this is, you wouldn't know it because this is massive. I don't know why this one got this huge and the other one stayed a little bit smaller, but this is a Redhead Coleus with a ridge run at the bottom. It's kind of hard to see in there, but you can see size-wise, it's even poking through over here. Does get a little less sun there, so that could be it. And look at the size of this one. But yeah, it is still buried. I probably have to get in here. You can see it's got kind of a woody base in there. And more ridgeron. Oops, I'm back out here. I just have Gara in this container, and I really like it on its own, or I think it would be good as a centerpiece with something trailing. It is going a bit wild, but I love that look. Just with some gomphrena. I have 3 containers of it. There's one over here. It has looked better. Again, I keep saying the sun situation, but I also push the envelope with the sun too. That was a mosquito. That's a first. So this container right here, you can see the bunny tails is really going over. So this is looking a bit messy in here. There's some newer growth down here, but so that's one thing to consider if you're going to grow bunny tails. Maybe it likes it a little bit cooler, but I still will grow it. But the one thing about starting seeds, I think I also am going to do succession sowing as far as with seeds to have an endless supply just in case if things don't work out or kind of peter out in the end, and even maybe do something for fall. I have to think about that. More verbena, which the Hyacinth bean vine is deciding to climb on, which is not going to give it a sturdy support. I like the seed heads. I could be trimming that up, but I also think that's ornamental. And I'm leaving them because, look, I have blooms forming all over. This is a vine, I would say if you start indoors, start it at least 6 weeks before planting out. It takes a long time for it to bloom. Maybe even a little bit. It grows fast, yes, but it takes a long time for it to bloom. More 20 apple blossom Snapdragon, all on its own, and I really like that too. But I also like how it's kind of acting as a trailer. I have not deadheaded this or cut this back all summer. So it might have benefited really good from that, but it just keeps producing blooms, so I didn't feel the need to. My other Topiary Coleus that I love, along with Baby Tears, planted at the bottom. These shallow terracotta pots I'd gotten from Amazon. I got them back, I want to say in March. I'm really liking it because I have this one. I love how they age, like that patina kind of look. Just really like that. This Coleus is a beast. And then this poor little one back here. I'm not giving up. I really trimmed back my violas. And I could probably do a little more trimming here. And I have it in a shallow pot, but this is just plastic. I know it's just plastic, but I picked this up at the recycling center at my garden center that they have. So people can drop plastic items off or pick some up. I really like these shallow bowls, and it's massive. So I probably won't do anything this year, but next year I'm thinking about it. Because I really like caladiums in these shallow bowls, and also caladiums have a shallow root system, so you don't need a lot of soil. So it's an idea. Who knows? Or I might plant it up this year with something for fall. This container I moved over here because it was, I'll get to that. It's doing good for the most part. The baby wings white begonia is doing fantastic. Like I said, for some reason the baby wings and the dragon wings are just so easy for me to grow. I struggle with these. I broke off a lot of these. I watered it too much. And I want to say that one's an apple blossom begonia, but yeah, the struggle is real with this kind, so I probably will just not grow this anymore, or maybe just on its own. But the Wandering Jew this year has taken over, and I love it. I'm just letting it climb up wherever it wants to. And the Plectranthus, these were cuttings I took. They're not quite as aggressive, which I'm okay with because I haven't had to do a lot of trimming. One nice thing about containers, if there's an ugly spot, I can turn the container, which I did because there's a big empty spot in back from a begonia. Gotta love container gardening for that too. Tahitian bridal veil, along with some caladiums. And like I said, this begonia here, I just kind of struggle with that kind. It is pretty, but it's just not doing what I thought it would do. And the Lobularia is doing great. It's just not good in this container. These are tiny containers and in a small spot, so I need to think about what I want to do for this next year. I do like this, but maybe just some Wandering Jew and other houseplants. That works out the best for me in that. And then there's this beautiful guy with just some purple salvia in there. Again, it's flushing out again. A little bit showing on camera here. But this Coleus is taken over along with Wandering Jew, which you wouldn't know. Just Coleus in here. I do have some Nicotiana swavolens popping up through this container back here. And the little guy right there. And another Coleus, which is in a lot of my containers too, again, cuttings. But you can see it's popping up through here. That's how vigorous that guy is. The Heliotrope, I do cut off spent blooms on this, and it has been producing blooms nonstop, and it is so amazing in scent. Came out here this morning, and oh, lovely. It just glows. We had a stretch of 90s again. The high humidity today, tomorrow. And then after that, I think we're in the 70s. It's a Coleus. It's filled out a good bit. I really like that. Along with more dragon wings and caladiums that I did save from last year. Carolyn Wharton, which is just, looks like paint on a palette, doesn't it? Love that one, along with the White Queen and Miss Muffet down here. Coleus that I have just been cutting away at, and it just has been growing like crazy. Just beautiful. And dragon wings, yep, pink. And more caladiums that I saved. This is also Carolyn Wharton, so I mean, look at the difference in color. It's really neat. And then just one white queen that made an appearance. I think I'm going to head toward this way while the air conditioning is quiet. I'm going to get that before it slams. This Coleus is just, I love this one. I mean, it's in a lot of containers, so it is a favorite. And this Nicotiana Swivelens, I think I prefer it in containers because I think it can look a little bit messy and weedy. I'm letting it go because it's putting out some more blooms here. But this is where I had the one container that has the Wandering Jew and the white begonias. Because this was just so close. I couldn't get back. Yes, my rain barrel was a little full, so I've been using it. But it was difficult to get in here and fill up my watering cans. So I had to just slide that down and make some room. And it works. So this is the reality of gardening. Okay, so this Plectranthus is gorgeous. It's taken over, and I'm very happy for that because this was looking good until something decided to come in here and dig. Look at this. Man, I've got holes. It was really bad. So this one's done. This is bent over. But this was the Endless Illuminations Brawlia. And this one still looks good. So all of a sudden I came, I thought, oh man, did I not water you? No, it was well watered. It was just dug up. So. But this covers it from a distance. So we'll see. And this one still looks okay. Maybe that'll pull through. Down here, I just have the polka dot plant along with the white impatient. Willard. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna. So this is another favorite. I mean, look at how far this Boston fern has trailed down. And these begonias in here, this is red Whopper bronze begonia. And then I have caladiums of mine that I saved from last year popping up here and there. The white queen and Carolyn Wharton. And a big leaf unfurling. Very, very happy with that. I had some that broke off. I don't know what happened, but there's a new one in there. Just amazing. And I barely have to water the majority of this. I have the elephant ear in its own container in there because it has its own water needs. Because most of these plants don't need a lot of fertilizing, and I mean, it's a huge container. So everything around this gets watered probably, I would say, once a week. But Thai Giant probably gets watered about once every 3 days. Yeah, I can't wait to see how big that leaf is. This begonia is just gorgeous. Look at that. The sun is just kind of hitting on it. I would look for the tag. There are spiders in there. I think it's an Iconia orange. This container just has some kind of a rust-colored Coleus, along with this purple Celia that is just doing what it wants to, and I'm letting it because it's just looking really good. Yes, it's a little tall, but I'm okay with that. And more that's kind of being pushed out. I like this container because it just adds a nice color in here amongst all of the green. Wandering Jew Dichondra Silver Falls, which is touching the ground down here. Just white Impatient and some Redhead Coleus. I'm very happy to see everything intact. We've had 3 days of high winds, and because we've been so dry, we're also in a burn ban. And it's just, that wind has been, I'm waiting for it to blow something through. There is a Ridgeron in here, just kind of poking through. Wandering Jew, and like I said, I'm just kind of letting, it's just a wow trailing plant, and so super easy to grow and propagate. I do have a pink Begonia back here somewhere, and some more Snapdragons, and some really massive Gara. This one, it's really huge. The next one looks a little bit better. Yep, more of my favorite Coleus. I shouldn't say favorite Coleus, just more of the same kind that I have. This is where the Gara is kind of just poking through really nicely. A little bit more here. So this is how I like it. Oh, this Wandering Jew it's even climbing over my doggy kennel. What can I say? Just wow with this Coleus. Have not had any problems growing Coleus this year whatsoever. And Redhead Coleus back here is just massive. And this container is kind of just Coleus. It's a hot mess. I'm just leaving that be. I need to think what I want to do next year. Maybe a grass of some sort to add a little bit height to that area. Oh, look at how beautiful this looks. Look at that. Look at, this is just one. Not Impatient. Morning Glory Vine. I was drawing a blank here. But this is the same kind as this one. Well, is it? Or maybe it was a stray volunteer, but oh my goodness. Took a long time to put on its show. I want to say it is just one. I only have one in the container. But Morning Glories are notorious for self-seeding, for sure. Look. I know. It's... So a lot of these containers have the same plants because they are seeds I started, or caladiums I saved from last year, or Coleus cuttings. So a lot of the same, but that's okay because I save so much money on these containers. Oh, and is so worth it. And the creeping Jenny down here, I trimmed it up a bit, but that was from my garden back here. So again, I want to say I didn't spend any more than, let's just say, $150. That's still, you know, a good amount. Look at this bee just, this was bouncing back and forth, but yeah, it's still a good amount on flowers, but definitely if I would have went to the garden center and bought all of these, I would have gone bankrupt, to tell you the truth. That's a lot. Okay, bankrupt might be a little drastic, but this is a sweet potato vine Medusa. Look at how beautiful. And you can't even see my fish planter, Wanda. This is just perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'm hoping that other one in front gets to be about that by the time the growing season is done. Yep, just some more, same. But I'm kind of addicted to Coleus. Yeah, mascara is doing really good here. This gets a little bit more sun. And I just like how this dances in the wind. And you know, when the bees are in it too, it was really cool. Gomphrena. I don't know this, it would not have been needed. One of the plants I had in here, Peruvian tobacco, had busted. I won't grow Peruvian tobacco anymore. But this is okay. It's just, honestly, it was not needed when I didn't realize how beautiful this plant was going to get and how massive. The Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. So I could take that out, but it's still doing something. Oh no, I just saw this. What? When everything else looks good, what happened? Sorry, that's not part of the container tour. I will focus. Probably will mention that in my garden tour. But just some Texas sage here. A lot of repeats again, just because I had so many seeds with the verbena. And the verbena worked out because I winter sowed it. That's the only way I can get it to germinate. That's why I'm thinking about taking some side shoot cuttings to see if that works. Bunny tails are looking a little bit of a hot mess down there. But I really like this. I just love walking through this area. Let's see, we could go back here quick. This isn't anything wow. It's kind of a last minute put together with everything thrown in there. Just salvia, oops, which is falling all over the place. The zinnias, do like the verbena. Like I said, I can put verbena anywhere and fall in love with it. But here's a datura that is blooming. So really like this. Still has some big blooms pushing out. But the seed heads I need to get in here and trim. Otherwise it's putting all its energy into forming that. They are neat though. Prickly. I don't know what this morning glory's issue. I planted this on here and has not thrown off one bloom. Oh, and then just want to show you. This is a morning glory that I did not plant that. It came from somewhere. So I'm hoping I get some blooms. I bet it's going to be purple. Probably Grandpa Ott planted that one year. That was a mistake. I need to get in here and deadhead. Oh, you know what I think happened? My town sprayed again last night. No, 2 nights ago. For some reason when my town sprays, it just wreaks havoc on certain plants. I do need to deadhead this. It looked way better than this. But the Blue Lady Begonia is still looking amazing. Very luminescent. Yeah, I'm not. That's really pretty though. This is Sunfinity sunflower that I started from seed. So the birds really like it, but the blooms are a lot smaller too. They're not as big as when it first started. So, like I said, the sun right now is just not optimal for some of these containers. But with it being late August, I'm okay with that. Verbena, one with some Swavolans and Nicotiana just kind of popping through here. Yeah, that is just huge. But the more sun you give it, the redder the leaves. But it still looks great, and a part sun, a little shadier situation, still grows. Maybe not as vigorous, but wow. And Nicotiana, it's supposed to be lime green, but it's not. It's white, which is very pretty. I've got some hummingbirds just chirping behind me. But isn't this verbena with the zinnia here just absolutely a beautiful color? Oh, and little Nicotiana popping through. Oh, I have lots of deadheading to do on my zinnias. And my sweet peas. I'm still debating. Sometimes I wonder if it's really necessary for people to gun it like that. I don't know. I'm thinking, do I want to collect seeds? I have to think about it. I do like sweet peas. I'm just, you know, they've been working out pretty good when I think about it. Especially this one here. That deep purple wine color, Beaujolais. That one, oh, can I get it? Oh, that was just adorable. Like he was just listening in on the tour. Oh, I love gardening. Hello, little dude. Hi. But yeah, the sweet pea, the sweet pea Beaujolais. I don't know. It took a bit, but that one is definitely to grow. That has taken the heat and has put on a very late performance. So I do like that one. I will try and save seeds on that. And of course, the plant that cute little guy was sitting on is Mahogany, Splendor, Hibiscus, which had got massive, look, that has got to be 10 feet tall. Oh, the contrast of the blue sky. And then a purple salvia here. So in this container, I just have a bunch of herbs, lemongrass, rosemary. I have some basil. I did plant the rosemary in this. I had bunny tails and it just gave up. So I thought, why not? Needed a bigger container. It wasn't doing much. Rosemary should be bigger than that. And then I moved this from back by my zucchini because this is lemon balm and it was just getting hidden and taken over. And just hard to get to. I kind of forgot about it. Oh, it smells so good. And this one here, I forgot to water it, and it was drooping. It did bounce back, but I think it suffered some shock. But it is starting to put off a few more blooms here, so we'll see what happens. There are some blooms forming. It's Honeybell's Kufia, and it's just one plant in here, and it's just all over, so I love it. Love, love, love that one. And this container really isn't. It's getting kind of taken over by everything. And I figure it would, but the oregano is popping through really nicely with little blooms, so I do like it. It's really nice in this cottage garden area. I think that is it for my containers. So I don't know if this is going to be the last tour with the containers, or if I'll try and do one more in September. I just don't know how things are going to look, just because, like I said, I can even see some differences now. So definitely let me know which ones your favorites are. And if you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. That does help me out so much with my channel. Keeps making me make more videos. I know the gardening season is slowing down a little bit, at least for a Minnesota gardener. But I'm still working the garden, still planting things, planting stuff. I have some plants I want to show you, so very thrilled about that. So yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this nice morning container tour, and bye for now.